Greetings from Hawaii, Dan the man. Awesome, man. Thanks for coming to Hawaii, or coming to us from Hawaii. I actually been to Hawaii a few times. I'm an adequate surfer. I'm not a great surfer, but I'm adequate. I can ride the waves. I can't really do much tricks. I usually ride longboards, things like that. I grew up skateboarding, so there's some overlap there, right? I remember I went on a surfing expedition vacation with a friend of mine long time ago, and on Kauai. Kauai is my favorite, personally my favorite island that I've been to out of the Hawaiian Islands. And we got up early one morning, guys, and we ate at this local cafe, and they brought out these big fresh, I mean, I'm sure Dan the man knows this, but there's these, you can get fresh vegetable and fruit juices that are just, they're juiced right there, right? Like in the cold pressed juicers. And they make them really big. So they brought out these big fresh vegetable fruit juice blends they make right there, and we're drinking those down. And, just having some breakfast, having my green tea, having my big thing of juice. And she's like, what are you guys up to today? We're like, oh, we're going surfing. We said to the waitress, and she said, oh, yeah, where are you guys going surfing? I said, oh, we're going surfing down by, and it was this army base. The name of it eludes me right now, but it was a beachfront by neighboring this army base. And Dan the man probably knows what I'm talking about. And she said, oh, like that. She just gave an expression like that, and she walked away, and we were like, oh, that was kind of weird, right? Hold on, let me adjust my screen, move it a little bit forward, because it's a little bit distant. There we go. Okay, so we just kind of looked, me and my friend looked at each other, that was kind of weird. And then she circled back with her check, and we tipped her out really well. So, oh, thank you so much. And we're like, okay. And she's like saying bye to us like this. Okay, bye. And we're like, that was weird. We're like, all right, bye. And we're like, that was a really intense lady, right? Well, guys, we get out to this beach, and there's perfect, beautiful airliner waves just coming in, and which are great waves if you're not a super expert, because they're easier to ride too. So we paddle out there. They're about 6 foot waves, pretty decent size. Actually, 6 foot wave doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're actually out there in it, it's a lot. So I was kind of carving a little bit. I got beat down. I wiped out, and I got beat down on the ocean floor. And when I came up, I had a pretty good sized cut on my forehead, right? So I paddled in, and I looked in the rearview mirror of the car that we rented, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's bleeding, but I'm going to get right back in there. So I started paddling out, even though I was bleeding, because I was like, I'm out here. I'm in Kauai. These are perfect, beautiful waves. For some weird reason, we have this whole beach to ourselves that we're surfing on. And so I don't care if I'm bleeding or not. I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm like, I'm not dying. So I kept paddling out. I'm paddling out. And you guys, as I was paddling back out, my friend Donnie, who's usually the most mellow yellow dude in the world, I see him riding a wave in. And just the look of just absolute, total, 100% unadulterated, raw, primal fear on his face. He looked as white as a ghost. And I just saw that look on his face that I had never seen on this super mellow guy before. Before he let out with all his booming vocal strength, he said, "Sure! Sure!" Like that. And it took me a few times around before I understood what he's saying. And as I was starting to turn my board around, I saw this fin. His fin pop up behind him, man. And wow, I could just feel my heart just drop and skip a couple beats. As I literally froze for it seemed like a while, but I think it was just a couple seconds. I was frozen in fear before I got my hide in gear. And I started turning around as quickly as I could, and I was paddling as fast as I could. paddling as fast as I could, and here come this wave coming up on me, and I just thought to myself in that moment, you guys, if I'm not an expert surfer. I'm an amateur surfer. I come from the Midwest. We don't surf much. I just thought to myself, if I don't stand up on this wave, if I don't make this wave, I might be a dead man, right? So here comes this wave, and all this pressure is on me to make this wave, and I'm trying to get out in front of it. I get out in front of the wave. I feel like I'm about to wipe out. I'm like, no. And then I barely got my balance back in time, and I was able to ride that wave enough in the shore before we both ran in and jumped off. We got out of there, and just like this, we saw that shark, man, where once it got into really shallow water, you saw that fin, man, just go, start to turn, start to go down and go away. So, the two dumb tourists, we were out there on this beach later that night, guys. We went out at this tiki bar. And I was outside outdoor tiki bar. We were talking to the bartender about our day and what happened. And he said, "Where were you guys?" And we told him where we were surfing. He goes, "Oh no, that's why no one was there, man." We said, "Why is that?" He's like, "Yeah, there's been shark sightings there lately. It took off somebody's limb there like last week. A shark took off someone's limb there last week." And I was like, "That's why no one was out there." Everyone knew it but us, because we were not local and we were dummies. And here that should have been our first sign. We should have been like, why is there perfect surfing conditions and no one here? But we just didn't even think about that. We're like, wow, we're just so lucky, right? So what had happened is I imagine what happened anyway, is when I cut my forehead, you guys, that probably just ignited and attracted that shark, right? That shark's spidey senses were like, ooh, blood in the water, right? So, my goodness. My cut on my forehead almost got me and my friend killed in Kauai. Killed in Kauai, rated R. Killed in Kauai, rated R.